Good morning from beautiful Brisbane, Australia. How are you this morning? And welcome. It's great to be with you today. And unfortunately, technology is playing up a bit this morning, but here's hoping we get through and we stay online. Welcome to all of you who join me every morning for some information that we can take to our therapist or to our trauma recovery coach and gain personal strategies from. And welcome to everybody who's new this morning. It's great to have you with us. Remember to say g'day and let me know how you're going. Feel free to ask questions as we go along. This morning I want to share with you some information about how to recognise financial abuse, because we've come out of generations with lots of different beliefs about the male's role in a relationship, the female's role in a relationship, and as the internet's taken off over the years, and look, more and more information is available to us, we've become aware that not everything works the same for everybody in every situation. And we also need to be aware of where and how we can feel comfortable to change things up in our lives and what will and won't work for us as individuals and what will and won't work for us in relationships. Financial abuse can be very, very subtle because it's hard. It can be easy to miss because of inbuilt beliefs that we've had from childhood that we're not conscious or we're not aware of the internal beliefs until experiences happen, and then we have to sit back and go, oh, is that right? How does this work for me? What do I see as an adult could be an improvement? And I certainly found this along the road of life, that financial abuse is very, very, very subtle, okay? And so as we go through the list, just make a note of one thing that stands out for you, because if we take it one thing at a time, it doesn't overwhelm our entire system, and then we're able to understand that it's manageable. So remember, when we live with complex PTSD, our brain has developed in childhood with the fear response first rather than the response of this is manageable. So we take one thing at a time and we put steps into place one step at a time to turn things around. To try and do everything at once is too overwhelming for the brain. And at the same time that we're putting different experiences into our life, we are also retraining our brain and our mind to be able to feel comfortable that we as adults can manage something different than what we learnt, what we experienced, what we saw in our childhood. So the first thing we want to look at for financial abuse and how to recognise it is someone may forbid their partner from working or spending their wages. So if you're in a situation where you feel like you're forbidden to work in any way, shape or form, and it's not just paid work, if you're forbidden to go out and interact in the community, even in a volunteer position, that is not healthy, okay? It's not healthy for you, it's not healthy for your mental health, and it's certainly not healthy for your emotional health either. And being forbidden from spending your wages is just like a nightmare. I've been there, and what needs to be happening on the healthy end of the spectrum is that if you're in a situation where you've got a partner or you're married, then you both need to be sitting down and doing the budget, and you both need to be agreeing with where the money gets allocated at any given point in time. Another aspect of financial abuse is someone taking complete control of the finances and the money, how the money is distributed. So you would get no say in how the income that you're earning or the combined income that comes into the household is being distributed. And no matter how hard you try and have those conversations about the finances, you get hit with a blank wall. And I've had that experience too. And look, if somebody has that attitude and they're not communicating with you, it's up to you to take steps to work out what you can do to manage the situation and what you can do to begin to change things up one step at a time, because they won't change. They've shown you that they want control, and control is not community. It's not opening up and saying, together we do this. And healing with complex PTSD is very much about together we do this, all right? Restricting access to bank accounts. I've not experienced this, but I'm aware of women who have not been able to have cards to access the bank account. They've not been allowed to have passwords to access bank accounts. So these days we do online banking. So then, you know, when you are restricted and you can't get in to see where the money's going, that's part of the subtlety of it all. And it's not that you don't want to know. You may feel that you wouldn't know how to manage it, but you can always learn. And you're intelligent enough to learn how to manage your money too. So it's not about having, you know, when we have an equal right. It's about sitting back and going, well, is this what feels right? Is this what is healthy? So the better question is this what is healthy for me in this situation? Okay. Number 4. Providing an inadequate allowance and monitoring what their partner spends money on. Oh my goodness, yes. Everyone stick their hands up that knows exactly what this feels like. And again, this will come back to what we talked about for number 1, is that it needs to be a discussion that both people are having, not one person has the only say. And that's what a lot of these are about, but if we can identify each one, then it makes it easier for us to understand that there are steps that we need to take and that we are allowed to know what's going on. We are allowed to have a say in our future, our financial future as well. All right. Number 5, forbidding a partner to work, taking a partner's pay and not allowing them access to it. So even if you work full time, this recognising financial abuse is look at it this way. Even if you're working full time, you never see your money, you never get an allowance, and it's incredibly frustrating, because why else do we go to work? Yes, we've got to go to work to pay the bills, but we also want to know that either we're saving up for holidays or something special or house renovations, or we do actually need some money for ourselves as well, you know. And look, this is a pet peeve of mine. Feel free to let me know if it's not yours. But I personally really don't like going into women's clothing stores and having a bunch of men there. Now, as I said, that's just a personal thing. I'm like, oh, please, just leave. For me, it's just like that space that is sacred for me. I just want to be able to do this on my own. And obviously that comes from the overwhelming feeling of having gone through adverse childhood experiences as well. I want to be able to be in a space where I can just be a female and, you know, either try on lots of clothes or not. And because men have a whole different mindset. We're not going there today. So you don't need somebody choosing your clothes. You want to be able to have the experience of learning who you are. So who I am. What do I like now? What do I like this season? What suits me? What's my body shape like? How do I feel about my body? We want to be able to ask these questions and not just be inspired by what's around us, but be able to go, yeah, this is how I'm feeling, and my clothes are going to reflect that this season. And yes, we're allowed to be women and have different clothes each season. We don't need a whole new wardrobe, but even if we buy one or two pieces that we can add into our wardrobe, it certainly makes us feel like, wow, I've got a choice. So a lot of financial abuse is taking our choice away as well. Number 6, preventing them from getting to work by taking their keys or car. And another side of this too, is denying you access to having your own car, especially if you're a parent. One of the things that I had before marriage was that I had my own car, and when I had to give that up, it was very, very hard for me. And it does, we have to be willing to sit down and have the hard conversations, the hard emotional conversations about how this makes me feel, where we're going to go from here, how are we going to change it up. Because for me, especially in Queensland, you need a car because public transport is just not the best. And, they're always trying to improve it, but it's just not the best. So having a car makes life time effective. Plus, if you've got kids, it almost becomes a necessity. And so when we get things like that taken away from us through no choice, there's no conversation about how we can go about what's the time frame before I do get my own car, etc., etc. We've got to be able to have these conversations with people in our life. And see, the thing is, before I ever went into another relationship, I'd be having these hard conversations, because one of the things that create breakdowns in relationships, one of the biggest things is money conversations. So before you get into a full-blown relationship, you want to be able to have financial conversations as well. And you don't want to get into a relationship with somebody who's full of debt, because it just compounds over the years. We want to know somebody who's sensible about their money. There's so much we can learn. So much I need to learn. Number 7, identity theft to secure credit using their credit card without their permission. And I've seen this happen as well. So you may have a credit card just for your own safety and security, just in cases. So you never use it, it's just there just in cases. Partner comes along and you get them a second card. Next thing you know, they're off and running and spending it up to its limit. Okay, so one of the things you look for in a partner especially is, do they have self-control around money, or do they not? That's the bottom line. But this is how to recognise financial abuse, and that person is being abusive because they do have no self-control, okay? Somebody who refuses to work or contribute to household expenses is being financially abusive as well. I love how over the years, so I started this process 30 odd years ago, and I love how we're able to recognise now how subtle financial abuse can be and how it works on both sides of the spectrum. So it's not just about what someone's withholding from us, it's also what somebody is trying to take from us as well. I hope this has helped this morning, give you some clarity around a situation in your life. Feel welcome to ask more questions, and remember, just one step once a day, and we will continue to move from recovery into remission. Have a great day or a great evening, and I will see you again tomorrow morning. Bye for now.